Edison. Our skyline lights up tonight as the eyes of football fans across the nation are on Cleveland.
The Browns and the 49ers go head-to-head, and thousands of Browns fans flock to the stadium for the game.
Good evening. The game tonight was easily a sellout.
But among the thousands of screaming Browns backers was one man who really went a long way to see the team that he loves. News Channel 5's Joe Paganakis joins us live now from the field at Cleveland Stadium to introduce us to a Browns fan who is truly one of a kind. Joe?
Well, Wilma, the Browns just won the ball game here. We'll have much more in sports on this. The stadium is absolutely rocking. But it's the story about 31-year-old Douglas Smith. You see, he suffers from a rare neurological disorder, and doctors aren't sure about his future. Still, the family shows a lot of hope for Douglas Smith, and with the help of some friends here tonight, they were able to come down to the stadium, take him out of the hospital, so he could watch the team he so dearly loves.
While the Browns, Deerdorf, Michaels, and the gang got ready for the game, 31-year-old Doug Smith got prepared the best way he knew how, with his wheelchair.
I'd like a popcorn and a large Coke, please. Popcorn, large Coke.
You see, Doug lost the use of his legs 2 weeks ago, and it wasn't easy getting him into the dog pound, but it didn't matter much. There was no way he was going to miss this game.
I think I could be here today through the welfare of my family coming to get me, and through all my good friends that back me and support me.
And to his fiancée, Yvonne Redden, this night of Browns hysteria was a dream come true.
The most wonderful thing in the world that he could be at this game today. And we could bring him out of Ohio State University Hospital. It's a great hospital. They just want him to death.
Thank you, Claire. Thank you. San Francisco, you don't have a chance. Cleveland's all over you.
Doug screamed and he cheered on the edge of his seat with each play.
And Jones fighting it. Jones! Cage of the refrigerator.
His friends just happy that they could get into the game.
There's no better person in the whole world than Doug Smith. I mean, that's why I'm here, really. Moral support and just to watch the game.
So, in the end, it really didn't matter who won or lost. Doug was just happy to be there. But don't take my word for it. Just ask Doug.
The Browns are so important to me that I just hope that I live to see them win a championship game someday, and I know it's right around the corner.
And with the Browns' performance here tonight, I'll tell you, that dream might not be too far off. Back to you, Wilma.
Joe, Doug was right in his analysis. San Francisco did not stand a chance against our Browns.
That's for sure.
Where does Doug go from here, Joe?
Well, it's back to Columbus for more experimental tests, and of course, our best of the family, and I know tonight he is smiling all the way back to Columbus.
I know he is. So are a lot of people. Thanks, Joe. While we're talking about the Browns, as you know, thousands of people saw the Browns play at the stadium tonight. They're still there. And we want to know how you think the Browns are going to do this season. This must have been before tonight's fine show. We're turning our attention to our telepoll, asking you that very question. Call 578-0300 if you think they're going to miss the playoffs. 578-0301 if you think they might sneak in as a wild card. And if you're optimistic, and I know you are, call 578-0302 and predict a division championship. Once again, it's a free call, and it is registered when you hear a click. On another subject, our phones have been ringing off the hook tonight after airing an ABC Day 1 investigation on Parma Community Hospital.
Money and threats of murder are at the heart of this remarkable investigation. In 1986, this man, Bernie Schleter, was hired by Parma Community Hospital to fix its growing problems. Within months of his arrival, Schleter was surprised to find so many problems. And so many problem doctors, a doctor who would fall asleep at a patient's bedside, another who would throw fits at nurses. When this doctor, Kim Kublal, came up for promotion within the hospital, Schleter discovered he was the subject of more than 24 complaints which included sexual harassment. Soon, some doctors regarded Schleter as a problem. Then the threats came.
I received a telephone call in the middle of the night by an individual who said that he had been approached the evening before to find a person down in the inner city of Cleveland who would be willing for pay to assassinate me.
I felt insecure. I wasn't ready to be a widow. I wasn't ready for our children to not have a father.
Parma police and the FBI began to investigate. The investigation focused on one of the so-called problem doctors, Ken Kublau. When ABC Day One approached him, he had nothing to say. Schlueter believed the suspect would be arrested any day, but the police and FBI dropped the case. Schlueter was asked to step down, and Dr. Kublau stayed on. Some believe the overriding concern was profits. Kublau admitted 80 patients a year. And Day One found trustees who also feared that doctors who disliked Schlueter would put their patients in competing hospitals and hurt Parma's bottom line.
I felt like a tornado swept through my life and just took with it my reputation and my opportunities for using that good reputation to find another job.
Bernie Schlueter was let go from Parma Hospital in 1991. He now works for the Ohio Department of Health. He filed a civil suit against Parma Community Hospital, and several employees were named in it. They settled that suit for an undisclosed amount of money.
Dr. Kublau's attorney says that the whole thing was a witch hunt against his client, who did nothing wrong. We also got reaction from Parma Community Hospital administrators who defend their actions.
We turned all these materials over to the established authorities, the FBI, the county prosecutor, the police, and none of them found enough evidence to bring a case.
We watched the Day One investigation with Bernie Schlueter today. He says that he has nothing against the hospital, and it was his faith that kept him going.
I have a very deep and abiding love for Parma Hospital, and I continue to have that. And in no way does this story reflect any of the employees. To God be the glory, because his truth and his mercy and his love, I believe, have triumphed. I've learned that I'm an okay person.
Bernie Schlueter, his wife, and his family now live in the Columbus area.
It was a mighty noisy night at Cleveland City Council tonight. News Channel 5's Catherine Boyd was there. She joins us now from our 24-hour newsroom. Catherine, what happened?
Roy, noisy is right. 5 busloads of 4th District residents marched into City Council chambers demanding more police protection, and they vowed to return if something isn't done. What started as a protest outside of City Hall soon moved into City Council chambers. Once inside, many of the 200 protesters refused to sit, some even blowing whistles.
We want to go! We want to go!
Please be seated. We've been told here that we disrupt council meeting, that we could be all arrested.
That's when police move in. Outside, more police arrive just in case the meeting gets more out of hand. By now, protest leader John Miller is out of council chambers.
Committee, we're here tonight to get 30% of the policemen back in the 4th District. We have 145,000 people. We only have 128 policemen.
But Safety Director Carolyn Watts-Allen says the city is beefing up the force in the district, saying a large chunk of police trainees are already headed for the high-crime area.
Out of our last class, they received the highest number of police officers than any of the other districts. What we're looking at is getting them up to about 177 officers.
And we've shown over the last year that we are aware of what's going on in the 4th District. We have the highest number of drug house task force closings in that area. We have the highest number of arrests for drugs in the 4th District.
The mayor also promises the 4th District will get a greater share of the next officer class set to graduate in October. And Cleveland's police chief says he's met with the group before and understands their concern.
And we'll continue meeting with them, and we'll work out the proper formula with them.
Now, of course, the bottom line here is money. I asked Mayor White if he'll recommend more money be put into the police budget for next year, and he said, well, he just can't say yet.
So we'll find out. Thanks, Catherine, very much.
The fate of an Eastlake teenager now rests in the hands of a jury. 18-year-old Andy Subcheck is facing aggravated vehicular homicide charges from an accident back in May that killed 4-year-old Vincent Rubatino. In closing arguments this morning, prosecution lawyers claim Subcheck was drunk and reckless the day of that accident. The defense claims that he is just the victim of circumstances.
Well, it was another successful day for NASA and the crew on board the Space Shuttle Discovery. The second major objective of its mission was completed today. The crew deployed a German ultraviolet telescope. A 50-foot robot arm was used to pluck the telescope out of the payload bay and put it into space. The telescope will be pointed at some of the hottest and coldest stars in the galaxy.
Some carjackers got more than they bargained for when they stole a woman's car. When the news continues, we will tell you who ended up going along for the ride.
And workers at a nursing home walk off the job. We'll tell you why. Stay with us.
News as it happens on News Channel 5, Cleveland's 24-hour news source.
This was a genuine day for the history books.
Israel and longtime enemy, the PLO, sign a peace agreement. Palestinians get the Gaza Strip and the West Bank town of Jericho. Israelis get a pledge of peace. Members of the local Jewish and Palestinian communities seem to welcome this news.
I think it's a wonderful day for all concerned. I have great hope for the future. I know there are serious problems ahead, but there are real incentives for both sides to work out their problems.
We've been waiting for that for a long time, almost 50, 60 years, and I hope it'll work, you know. And, you know, I want to go back as, you know, a Palestinian who lives in Palestine, you know.
Well, Assad may be able to do just that in a few months after Israel withdraws most of its army and the PLO establishes a police force in its new territory.
A carjacker got more than he bargained for last night when he made off with a car that had two little kids in the back seat. Police say they have some substantial leads and a possible suspect in the case. Vanessa Hall says she hit a high curb at a gas station, got out of the car to check for damage, and in a heartbeat, the carjacker jumped in and made off with not only her car, but her kids. The car and the children were found abandoned about 12 hours later. Investigators say it was just a crime of opportunity.
They just saw the opportunity, and they jumped in, took off, and the next thing they know, they got two kids in the back of the seat.
The two children were taken to St. Luke's Hospital. They were a little tired, but unharmed.
Cleveland police have released the tape of a disturbing 911 call that they received on Saturday. During the call, 50-year-old Shedrick Brown threatened the life of Mayor Michael White and is currently under psychiatric evaluation at the VA hospital. Much of the tape is really not fit for airing, but here is how it began.
911, police, fire, or... I need to put police, please. My name is Shedrick Brown. You got my number on this cause I'm registered with you. See? Okay? Now, I'm going to kill somebody. See, I'm a disabled veteran. Okay, hold on a second while I transfer you. Beg pardon? I have to transfer you to the police. Okay, please.
Well, Brown has not been charged, but police say that he could be cited by disturbing public service by making false calls or aggravated menacing.
More than 200 workers at a North Canton nursing home walked off the job today. Nurses, janitors, and food service workers at the St. Luke Home for the Aging went on strike. Workers say negotiations went on for more than 6 months, but no agreement could be reached. Service employees say the strike is not over wages, but working conditions.
We're striking today over unfair labor practices. We do have unfair labor practices filed against the facility. And the employees here feel very strongly in fighting for the employees' rights here.
The home says arrangements have been made to continue to take care of the home's residents.
If you shopped at the Finest store in Bedford yesterday, we have a warning for you tonight. Finest is recalling all ground beef purchased Sunday at the Rockside Road store. The beef could contain pieces of an electrical cord left in the meat grinder during its cleaning and dismantling. Anyone who bought the meat should return it immediately for a refund. The Cuyahoga County Board of Health and Finest say the ground beef poses no significant health risk. Talk show hostess Oprah Winfrey becomes a victim while doing a show on crime in Miami.
We'll have details on what happened straight ahead in Night Reel.
Quite a scare today for talk show hostess Oprah Winfrey.
While in Miami taping a show on violence in America, Oprah herself became a target. That story tops off tonight's Night Reel. Police say someone threw a smoke bomb into a limousine. Oprah was quickly hustled away from the scene. Authorities say the bomb was hidden inside a bag that was given to her as a gift. No one was hurt in the incident.
Walter Mondale has traveled abroad. He is the U.S. ambassador to Japan, and he left to go there today. Mondale plans to spend some time in Japan and encourages young people in America to learn about Japan and its history.
Back here in the States, some Texans are cleaning up tonight after a series of tornadoes. The twisters touched down in the town of Claiborne, which is south of Dallas. A 12-block area of the town has been blocked off, and at least a dozen people were hurt by the tornadoes. Authorities say the storms were triggered by the remnants of Tropical Storm Lydia.
And severe weather is taking its toll in Florida. Storm victims say it was raining so hard you couldn't even see the tornado that passed through the area. The storm ripped 2 homes to pieces, leaving behind nothing but a mangled mess. 5 people were hurt in the storm.
Students and faculty at a Mississippi school are doing more than a double take these days. You see, the school has 9 sets of twins, most of whom are identical. Most of the kids don't try to fool their teachers and friends by taking on the identity of their sibling, however, but they admit sometimes they can't resist.
I bet they can.
But that's a situation you got to drive the teachers just crazy. Who am I looking at here? We'd like a twin of today's weather for tomorrow, wouldn't we? No complaints at all about today's weather.
Wasn't it nice today? Picture perfect. Is there more of this to come? Kerry's coming up next with her forecast. Stay with us. The weather today was absolutely gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
Looking out and enjoying it and thinking, how much longer will this last?
The gorgeous weather?
Yeah.
Go outside right now, Lona. It's just about to leave. I tell you, it stayed around long enough for the game, and what a great game it was. But unfortunately, we do have another system that is moving. It's a huge system. It has produced some tornado watches from Texas all the way up into Kansas and some thunderstorm watches, and it is now basically in Illinois pushing into Indiana. It's going to bring in some heavy rain. If you take a look at our satellite loop right now, having trouble speaking. You can see, look at this massive system just moving right up into the upper Midwest and across into Indiana, headed directly for Ohio. As a matter of fact, tropical depression down here to the south, pumping up a lot of precipitation in the form of showers, thunder showers, and even tornado watches. So when you look at what's going on here tonight, we did extremely, extremely well. Now wait till you see the size of this system. Do you believe it? It extends all the way out towards California, but this is what it is doing. A lot of heavy, heavy rain. I'm sure there's going to be a lot, and already there's a lot of localized flooding that is going on, particularly in areas like Texas and Oklahoma. Look at this. Not thunderstorm watches, but tornado watches right along the line of this storm, and it is a big one. Now, today we saw a high of 86 degrees and a low of 64. Average is 75 degrees, so we're well above average. Records in 1952 and 1964. Expect that sunrise tomorrow morning, getting later at 7:07. Right now, it is still 75 degrees. Didn't I tell you it was going to be great for the Browns game? Humidity level's gone up to 64%. The winds have gone down, though, to 15 miles per hour with the barometric pressure at 30.09 inches. Look at what is happening. I'll get out of the way so you can see how close it is to moving into the northwest portion of Ohio. This, as I said, is a massive system that is tracking up towards our area. If you're doing some boating tomorrow, winds will start out of the south, switch to the southwest at 15 to 25 knots, waves 4 to 6 feet. Lake temperature has gone down, but another degree to 73 degrees. Tonight, it is becoming overcast. It's partly cloudy right now. It is breezy. Overnight low tonight of only 67 degrees. It's going to be a warm one. Tomorrow, overcast with afternoon thunder showers. Winds will be gusting up to 25 miles per hour with a high temperature of 84 degrees. And look at the forecast for tomorrow. As you can see, with those showers and thunder showers, expect more showers Wednesday morning until it clears out of the area. And then on Thursday, partly sunny skies, fair weather on Friday, starting to cloud over Friday night with an approach, again, of another upper air disturbance that is bringing in the possibility of some showers for Saturday. But take a look at the difference in temperature between tomorrow and Wednesday, dropping from 84 to 68 as that frontal system passes behind Ohio. Cooler, drier airflow. As a matter of fact, It's 50 degrees, in the 50s, as you move out into portions of the northern plains and out in the Rockies. They even saw some snow in the Rockies.
Oh, my.
Yeah.
Oh, my.
Yes.
But not for us yet.
Not for us. The F word is a dirty word for the months of September, October, November, and December.
Or January.
Yes.
Okay,
Jerry.
thank you. Coming up next, what else? Another look at the thriller at the stadium.
Bob will have a live report with tonight's heroes, and there were a number of them when News Channel 5 continues. When Michael Jackson made the best touchdown pass catch I've seen in years just before the half.
That's when you knew it was
I
over?
knew we were going to win.
When did you think?
I was optimistic from the beginning. Honestly, I was. Although there were naysayers saying it's not going to happen, they were wrong.
I didn't think it was over until Bernie threw that horrible bomb at the end that Michael Jackson caught, too. The different catch. Was tonight the real thing for the Browns or just a mirage off the lake? Now, most of us would have been impressed by just seeing the Browns play the 49ers even up. But beat them? Well, the sold-out dog pound was fired up tonight, and maybe the Browns were a little too high, too, because of the first 49er possession. Najee Mustafa dropped an easy interception. He was playing with a bad shoulder. 49ers kick a field goal. First Browns possession, Michael Jackson drops this first play bomb that would have been an easy 6. Browns end up getting a field goal from Matt Stover, who was one of the heroes tonight with 3 field goals, that one from 47. Niners kick another 3, but then the Browns unleash Eric Metcalf. He gets it down inside the 25-yard line, and then they unleash defensive tackle James Jones for the touchdown. 10-6 Browns early in the second. The Brownie defense bending all night, but making the big plays. Mike Johnson with the tip. Clay Matthews the interception, the first of 4 turnovers tonight. It sets up a field goal that makes it 13-6. The Niners, though, keep marching down the field. John Taylor right here, catch and run for 23 yards. They finally get a touchdown. Mark Logan diving it in. It's a 13-13 tie. 5 minutes left in the half. A lot of you were a little worried. The Niners get it back. But then pressure by Pleasant causes turnover number 2. Selwyn Jones with the interception, and the Browns take advantage of this one, marching it in before the half. Watch this catch by Michael Jackson again. 20-13 Browns. Big Mo is wearing the orange helmet now. Third quarter, Niners again moving down the field, but Rob Burnett comes in and blocks this field goal attempt. Then in the fourth quarter, Stover makes his third at 23-13, and now let's start dodging bullets. The catch by Rice turns into the interception by Eric Turner. Then Steve Young nailed by Crush and then recovered by Rush. Michael Dean Perry picks it up. Browns go 3 and out each time. Niners drive for a field goal, fumble the snap. It's still 23-13. Browns still trying to make something go. This is the only decent play they had in the fourth quarter. Bernie Kosar, Michael Jackson makes the catch. 105 yards receiving tonight. The Browns stun him. Bill gets a bath. 23-13 the final score. That's the best shower he's had all season long. Let us now go live to the stadium to talk to one of tonight's Browns heroes, defensive tackle. That's what we usually call him. Now we got to call him touchdown maker again, James Jones. JJ, what a night for the defense. Tell me about it.
Well, you know, we came into the game trying to maintain their offensive game plan, their offensive scheme. They have great personnel with Jerry Rice, John Taylor, Ricky Waters, and Steve Young. We knew they were going to make some plays on us, so we just tried to go in there and try to contain them and not give up any points.
If they made 3 plays out of 4, that was almost okay tonight, wasn't it? Because the fourth play usually was a turnover and got you going the other way.
Yeah, turnovers played a big key in this game as far as us knocking the ball off of them, blocking a couple kicks and things like that to stop them from getting points on the board. And you have to do that against a team like the 49ers.
All right, we got to show the touchdown again because I want you to describe it again. You know, it's supposed to go to Vardell most of the time, but this time they just give it to you.
Yeah, basically it's just a trap play on the inside, and I don't think the 49ers were expecting it, and we hit them pretty good. I think the linebacker stepped up in there and just ran right by me. Great blocking by Bob Dahl and Houston Hoover and Steve Everett to open up the hole.
Oh, and they love it when you talk about the great blocks, right? James, now how does this team settle down? Because now you got a short week because you got to go to the West Coast.
Exactly. It's going to be pretty demanding on us as far as getting ready to go out to Los Angeles. You know, change of climate and a short week also. We have to leave a day early to go to the West Coast. So, you know, we have to get in there on Wednesday and Thursday and get a lot of work in a short period of time and get ready to play the Raiders because they're hot too. They're 2-0 also.
You bet. But it'll be a happy work week, I'm sure. James, thanks a lot for joining us, and congratulations again on a big win tonight.
Okay, boss. Thanks a lot.
All right. Now, on Brownstown tonight, we asked you how you thought the Browns would do this season using our exclusive telepoll, and here's what you think. Even after the game, 39% of you aren't convinced this is the real thing yet.
but 42% are talking division championship and already making the hotel reservations. Yeah, we just had a little fun with that. Now, you've had those days when nothing went right. The Browns didn't today, but the Indians. Mike Hargrove explained yesterday's ugly 11-1 loss that way to the Red Sox. He said he didn't care to see it again. Then he should have taken tonight off as well down in Arlington because it was an ugly night for the Indians. Bottom of the second inning, this bouncer by Dean Palmer. Felix Fermin makes the good play, and then Jim Thome makes the bad play. 2-run score, and you get the drift of this ball game. Then in the third, the roof falls in. Home run number 1 by Rob Ducey, then number 44 by Juan Gonzalez right here. Kevin Brown struck out 9, and the Rangers bombed the Indians by a 12-1 score. Kansas City leading in the 6th, so the White Sox lead the American League West by 3. In the American League East, Baltimore loses. The Yankees are winning, so they're both 2 games down at this very moment. Good news for the Indians on the farm team. Both farm teams are now within 1 win of winning their championships.
That's good.
That's good
That's
stuff.
very good news.
Yeah, but forget the Indians tonight. This was the Browns.
Taking Browns tonight. There's more News Channel 5 just ahead.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
And finally tonight, now that our Browns Monday night football game is behind us, we've got another game to tell you about. It is the 1993 World Mud Bowl. That's right. Just take a look at this. These muddy players are competing at the Hog Coliseum in New Hampshire. But of course, you say, Bob, yes, the game was intense and a bit messy, but the Massachusetts Mudders put all that...
The what?
The Mudders. You know, the Mudders. They came away with a victory over the Hogs.
Oh, well,
The Mudders and the
he was the
Hogs.
guy third from the left there, Webster. Having a good time out there. That's the news for now. Thanks for being with us.
Make it a good day tomorrow. Sleep well tonight and stay tuned for 24-hour news source updates when you are awake. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
September 13th, 1993.
For many, it was an image hard to believe. For some, it was an image hard to accept. And for the 2 men ultimately responsible, a desperate hope that they had done the right thing.
Unless we take painful decision, there is no chance.
They were, before that, our enemies, and we were their enemies. And now we are trying to overjump all these old days.
Tonight,